Democrat lawmakers have ramped up war crime accusations against the White House over strikes on those suspected drug trafficking boats. The White House is pushing back on the criticism. Retired four-star General Jack Keane joins me now. General, has the State Department taken a black eye, or the Department of War, has it taken a black eye over the drug boat hits?
Well, despite the fact that we're having a prolonged discussion about this, I don't believe so. And certainly the polling you see from the American people who truly support what took place there. So I don't think it's a black eye for what's taken place here. Listen, Democrats and Republicans presidents for the last 20-plus years, beginning with the 9/11 wars, have authorized similar strikes, most of them certainly on land, isolated targets like this boat was with the people on it. And then, Stuart, as a result of it, if you looked at a video of what took place then, you would also see survivors of that in a very chaotic situation where people are dead and wounded and certainly seem helpless. But because the decision has been made in terms of what they represent as terrorists and the harm that they have been doing, we have the full authority to eliminate them and to eliminate the survivors as well, because they can rise again and still continue to do harm. The video, when you look at it, in the case of the boat is the target as well as the members of the terrorist organization that are driving that boat and bringing that poison into the United States. There's moral clarity here in the authority to eliminate them in terms of the harm they're doing, very similar to what we've done on land with terrorists in Iraq, Afghanistan, Yemen, also in Somalia. The list goes on. And reattack has been a form of all of that. Now, I will admit, when you look at something like that and you're not used to seeing something like that, it can be shocking to you. But the authority to do it is there, the moral clarity about doing it. And listen, Stuart, war is about death and destruction, and not everybody gets to see that as clearly as this video demonstrates. And it can be shocking, I admit it, but it's not for the faint-hearted. And our authority to do this and the troops that are executing it, they're doing it representing the values of America. And they have moral clarity in doing this because the members in this organization are similar to the terrorists in the Middle East that we were dealing with and in Africa, are doing harm to the American people. And we wanted to stop it. And that's what this is about.
Got it. Next one, General. Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu expects the Gaza ceasefire plan to move into its second phase soon. His word, soon. What is that second phase? Would it be the disarming of Hamas? Because they still haven't given up their guns.
Yeah, just a reminder of viewers, the first phase is the one that's been playing out before our eyes, obviously taking weeks longer than anybody wanted. That is the return of the live hostages, which took place over several days, but now the return of the deceased hostages, which has taken weeks. And there's one remaining hostage, a police officer, Israeli police officer, who's yet to be returned. And once he's returned, then phase 2 begins. And phase 2 is a challenging phase because you put your finger right on what the challenge is. In phase 2, there's going to be a committee stitched together to oversee an international stabilization force. And what is their mission? Well, they're carving out what that mission is. It's authorized by the United Nations. The Security Council passed a resolution to organize this force. And there's a number of countries, 5 or 6, that are coming together to make it up. One of the things is to maintain order so that there's no police to speak of. Make certain that things are functioning properly in terms of taking care of the people. But the toughest part of the mission is what you mentioned, and that is disarm and demilitarize Hamas. Some of these countries already said, I'm willing to participate, but I'm not going to be involved in having to fight Hamas. So if that becomes prevalent and we don't have forces put together to do this mission, then it's a hollow force. And then the mission of phase 2 will indeed fail. God. And certainly that is not what the intent is here. So that's what the issue is coming down to, Stuart, is disarming and demilitarizing Hamas, because as you know and have stated many times here, They have decided not to do that. They want to stay under arms, and they want to stay in control.
Got it. One more for you, General. Ukraine's Zelensky held a 2-hour phone call with Trump advisor Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner over the weekend. They were discussing peace negotiations. General, the way I see it is Russia can keep going because of Chinese support, and China has no interest in settling the war. How do you see it?
Yeah, China is supporting Russia, as is Iran and North Korea, and they see the deal. If Russia wins, they win. And that's what they want, because that will weaken the United States. It will weaken the Europeans in the sense that they failed to support an ally and a partner. And it certainly provides incentive for what Iran wants to do in the Middle East, and that is still build a nuclear weapon, rearm themselves with ballistic missiles. They're already providing money to to Hezbollah to get them to recover. And certainly, if Russia wins in Europe and takes Ukraine and knows, and we know full well they want to expand, and we let them get away with that, what does that say to Mr. Xi about his desires to take control of Taiwan? Does that provide him an incentive to do that? I think it's pretty obvious it does. Yeah. So there's relationships here. That's why they're all in and supporting the Russians here.
Jeez, what a mix. General Keane, always a pleasure.